In this video, I'm going to show you why so many real estate agents quit too early when learning a new skill and the 4 levels of mastery that explain exactly why that happens. Because once you understand this, you'll stop beating yourself up when something feels awkward, and you'll start progressing much faster. Here's the problem. Most agents mistake discomfort for a sign they should stop when it's actually proof they're learning. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Ken Gould with Agent Performance Coaching, where I help real estate agents ditch the chaos, stay laser focused, and streamline their workflow so they can scale their business and unlock consistent growth. Let's break this down. Here's something every successful agent eventually learns. Mastery almost always feels awkward before it feels easy. Every skill you will ever build in this business moves through 4 predictable levels. Level 1 is unconscious incompetence. That simply means you don't even know what you don't know yet. You don't realize the skill exists, or you don't realize how important it is. Level 2 is conscious incompetence. Now you see the skill. You understand that it matters, but you're not good at it yet. And that feels uncomfortable. Level 3 is conscious competence. You can do it, but you still have to think about it. It takes effort and focus. Level 4 is unconscious competence. That's when the skill becomes natural, automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it. Scripts move through these 4 levels. Prospecting does. Follow-up does. Listing presentations do. Objection handling does. Every single skill. No exceptions. No shortcuts. Let me give you a real example. I worked with an agent not too long ago. I'll call her Sarah. Sarah had been in real estate for about 4 years. She wasn't brand new. She had closed deals. She had happy clients. And she considered herself a solid working agent. When she came to me, she didn't think she had a major follow-up problem. She just wanted to tighten things up a bit. So we started looking at her business together. And what we found surprised her. She had a database of over 200 past clients, warm leads, and people who already knew her, people who already liked her, people who already trusted her. But she was following up with almost none of them in any real consistent way. Not because she didn't care, not because she was lazy. She genuinely believed she was staying in touch. She'd send a text every so often, maybe comment on something on Facebook, maybe think about calling someone and then tell herself, I don't want to bother them. In her mind, she was doing follow-up. But in reality, she was mostly invisible. And that's the tough part about level 1. You don't know what you don't know. She didn't realize that real follow-up, intentional, consistent, value-based follow-up was a completely different skill than what she had been doing. So we built her a simple follow-up system, a basic call cadence, a few conversation frameworks so she knew what to say. Nothing complicated, just structured and consistent. And the first couple of weeks, she did not love it. She said, Ken, this feels stiff. It doesn't sound like me. I feel like I'm bothering people. And I told her, that feeling you have right now, that discomfort, that's not a red flag. That's a green flag. It means you're learning. She was sitting right in the middle of level 2, conscious incompetence. She could clearly see the skill now, but she wasn't comfortable with it yet. And this is where a lot of agents stop. They feel awkward, so they assume the activity is wrong. But Sarah stayed with it. By week 3, the calls felt a little less stiff. By week 5, she reconnected with a past client she hadn't spoken to in over a year. That client referred her a buyer shortly after. And by month 3, she wasn't thinking so much about the framework anymore. She was just having conversations, real conversations, natural conversations. She had moved from awkward to capable to natural. And in the 6 months after she cleaned up her follow-up, she closed multiple transactions directly connected to her database. People who already knew her, people who simply needed her to show up consistently. The skill was never the problem. The awareness and repetition were. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, maybe I'm just not good at scripts. Maybe prospecting just isn't my personality. Maybe this part of the business just isn't for me. I want you to stay with me here, because what I'm about to show you might completely change the way you think about learning skills in this business. Think back to when you were a kid riding in the backseat of a car. Driving looked easy. Your parents were steering, changing lanes, talking, adjusting the radio. It all looked effortless. But that's because you were in level 1. You didn't know how many little skills were happening at the same time. Then one day you sat behind the wheel for the first time, and suddenly everything felt overwhelming. The mirrors, the pedals, the steering wheel, your speed, traffic, signals, other cars. Everything felt awkward. That's level 2. You understand the skill now, but you're not comfortable yet. Then after enough practice, you can drive. But you still have to think about it. You're checking the mirrors on purpose, watching your speed intentionally, paying attention to each movement. That's level 3. You can do it, but it still requires focus. Then eventually, something interesting happens. You drive across town and barely remember the drive. You were thinking about something else. Maybe listening to music or a podcast, maybe talking to someone, but you still got there safely. That's level 4, automatic, natural, and that's exactly what happens in real estate. Here's where most agents go wrong. They quit at level 2, right in the middle of conscious incompetence, the uncomfortable stage. That's when agents start telling themselves, scripts sound robotic, cold calling isn't my personality, prospecting just isn't for me, follow up feels pushy. But that's usually not a personality problem. It's not a talent problem. It's the learning stage. And the skill simply hasn't had enough repetition yet. So think about these 5 skills in your business: scripts, lead generation conversations, follow up, listing presentations, objection handling. Be honest with yourself. Where are you with each one? Still awkward? That's not your weakness. That's your training zone. That's the skill that needs more repetition, not more second guessing. And remember this: confidence does not come first. Competence does. Confidence is the byproduct of repetition. Every agent you look up to, the ones who sound natural on the phone, the ones who handle objections calmly, the ones who lead listing appointments with confidence, they weren't born that way. They stayed in the process long enough to move from awkward to capable to natural. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one skill, not 10, one. Maybe it's scripts. Maybe it's prospecting. Maybe it's follow-up. Maybe it's listing presentations. Maybe it's objection handling. Commit to 30 days of repetition, not perfection, repetition. Just 15 minutes a day. You can do almost anything for 15 minutes. That's how competence is built. And competence is how confidence is earned. Give yourself permission to be bad before you become good. That's not a flaw in the process. That is the process. Before you go, I'm curious. What's one skill in your business right now that still feels awkward? Scripts? Prospecting? Follow-up? Listing presentations? Drop it in the comments below. And if this video helped you, make sure you subscribe. Every week I share strategies to help real estate agents ditch the chaos, stay laser focused, and build a more consistent business. And if you ever want more structure or direction in your business, you can always reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to connect.